Hi everyone, welcome to COBOL Upgrade Advisor for zOS. You've got a fantastic team looking after you, doing the presentation and a demo. So I'm just going to go on mute, take off video, and I'm handing it over to the team. Good luck.
Thanks, Stuart, and thanks everyone for joining us today. My name is Jennifer Rowan. I'm a IBM Compiler Product Manager. Joining me today is Nicole Trudeau, who's an IBM COBOL Product Manager, and Jane Chang, who is our Compiler UX Designer. Today, we're going to talk about the IBM COBOL Upgrade Advisor for zOS. With that, we'll just get started. So COBOL Upgrade Advisor for zOS is a brand new product that was announced on April 8th, and it will become generally available on May 9th of this year. The product is designed to help our clients move from Enterprise COBOL 4 and earlier versions to the latest COBOL version 6. So speaking of that, COBOL 6.5 is the newest version of Enterprise COBOL. It was also announced on April 8th. And it will become generally available on June 13th. Before we get into more information on the product, I wanted to start with some background on, why it's beneficial to be on COBOL 6. And the first reason is to reduce risks and achieve currency. The older COBOL compilers may have reached their end of support dates. And while you can continue using the compiler, IBM will not provide support if you encounter any issues during recompilation. At some companies, employees are not allowed to use unsupported software, and they run the risk of failing internal or external audits, which is another reason why you want to remain current. In addition to reducing risks, you want to be on the latest compiler because the latest versions give you the best performance of your hardware. Only COBOL 6.5 can take advantage of the latest hardware features that come with Z17. And the same applies with COBOL 6.4, taking advantage of Z16. Running the latest hardware with your latest compiler will help you optimize your performance and potentially reduce CPU utilization and your operational costs. The new compilers have many features to help you enhance and modernize your applications. Over the years, many features have been added to COBOL V5 and V6. I won't name them all, but to name a few, support to parse and generate JSON, support for UTF-8 and XML, the ability to generate 64-bit applications and to interop with 34 and 64-bit applications. Language features have also been added that can help improve developer productivity, such as user-defined types and user-defined functions. These features make COBOL programming a lot more familiar to people who are new to COBOL development. You can extend your applications with Java using the new interoperability framework that we put into COBOL 6.4, and you can also consider interoperating with other languages like Node.js, Python, Go, C and C++, etc. For clients, using IBM Watson Code Assistant for Z, it is ideal that you complete your upgrade to COBOL first to take advantage of the transform feature. For example, if you're doing some transformation into Java using WCA for Z and leaving some COBOL behind, only COBOL 6.4 has the capability to do that COBOL Java interop. For some customers, there's been some bad programming practices that have developed over the years. These problems went undetected for a very long time. When upgrading into COBOL 5 and 6, the memory layouts of the compiler have changed, and these bad programming practices are now coming to light. These invalid data issues need to be addressed, or you run the risk of having broken programs that do not produce correct results at runtime. Enterprise COBOL 6 has new compiler options added like numcheck that can help you detect invalid data problems. Identifying, fixing, and testing before and after the upgrade to ensure the problems are fixed is a big part of the effort of getting onto COBOL 6. After you're done fixing the problems, you will have improved and cleaner code. So Nicole or Jane, do I need to stop for any questions, or are we good to keep going there?
No questions yet.
Okay, great. Okay, let's talk about challenges that can be associated with the upgrade. So as you know, there's massive amounts of COBOL programs out there, and in many cases, tens or hundreds and thousands of programs that have been developed over the last 50 years. At some client sites, they aren't able to keep track of their inventory. And often a client doesn't know what version of the compiler they're running, how many programs they have, what options they're using, what options they compiled with before, and what they should now change to for COBOL 6. And in some cases, they don't even know which programs are running and which aren't. This makes it very difficult to know where to start with your upgrade and how to estimate the project workload. The initial planning task of the COBOL upgrade involves taking inventory, prioritizing critical programs, deciding on how you're going to approach the project, whether you recompile everything all at once in a big bang project, or you tackle the project slowly, maybe focusing on just one application at a time. If you decide to do everything all at once, it can take many months or years in some cases. At CIBC Bank in Canada, they decided to tackle everything at once, and their full upgrade took them 3 years in total. There's quite a lot of effort in the work itself and in the coordination among different application teams. Very back-level programs have their own unique challenges. We have seen that it's very common in companies to have several versions of the compiler in use today. Some customers have combinations of code running on OS vs COBOL, some with OS COBOL 370, some with COBOL version 3, and some with COBOL version 4. And maybe they've even started their upgrade into COBOL version 6. Each combination can bring some new challenges. The chart on the right demonstrates the complexity. Programs compiled with different shades of red are hard to move into the latest generation of compilers. The light red, COBOL 3 and 4, is hard to move into COBOL mainly because of the possible invalid data problems. The medium red, COBOL 370 or COBOL for OS 390, will have the same possibility of invalid data problems, and depending on what compiler options were used originally, a source conversion to COBOL 85 could be needed. The dark red, OS vs COBOL and vs COBOL 2, can be the hardest to move into COBOL 6, again, because of the possible invalid data problems. And in this scenario, you would most likely have to do a source conversion to COBOL 85 and possibly convert to a new runtime. When you get through these challenges, there is light at the end of the tunnel. When you have some code migrated to COBOL 5 and 6 and address the invalid data problems, your upgrade process to future versions of Enterprise COBOL should be more straightforward. Okay, given we talked about the benefits of being on the latest version of COBOL and the associated challenges, I'd like to talk a little bit about the actual COBOL upgrade product before we jump into a demo. As I mentioned previously, a big initial challenge in the upgrade is the planning process. So this tool helps you with planning by giving you COBOL inventory insights. It presents information about your inventory in a visual interface through a VS Code extension that runs on your workstation. So there are two types of inventory scans that are offered. A static scan, which you'll see in the demo, is also called a load library, and a load library scan, and a dynamic scan, which is what we call in the demo an application scan. They both have different use cases. The static scan will scan data sets you have selected and allow you to see what modules are in those data sets, what compiler version was used, when things were last compiled, what options were used, and more. So this is helpful when you need to understand your COBOL estate and how to start planning. The dynamic scan takes more of an application by application approach. To initiate the scan, you need to provide the run GCL and actually kick off the application. The report will provide the same beneficial data that you see in the static scan, but it will also tell you all of the programs that are called during that run so that you know what the application is made up of and what programs you need to upgrade as part of upgrading that one application. This scan is more useful when targeting specific applications. Both scan outputs will provide an upgrade readiness assessment and list the exact actions that you need to take based on what was scanned and what COBOL 6 compiler options you should be using. As discussed, what you'll see today is just an initial release of the product, and we have more exciting features planned for the future. We welcome any ideas that you may have and what you think we should be doing next, and we invite you to provide feedback in our ideas portal. And I will make this presentation available on the GSE website. I just want to touch base on how this product is available. So this is sold on Passport Advantage, and it comes with two components. There's a server component, which is installed on zOS, and a user component, which is your VS Code extension that gets installed on your workstation. It is required to purchase both the server and the authorized user license in order to use COA-UZ. And sorry, COA-UZ is our acronym, in order to use COBOL Upgrade Advisor. And there's a minimum purchase of 2 authorized users. We also offer subscription licenses as well. So you can contact your customer support representative for more information on that. This is a list of resources that you'll be able to take a look at once uploaded to the GSE site. The announcement letter, there's some blogs, and there's also some demos if you'd like to share beyond beyond your existing teams on the call. So with that, I don't know if there's any questions, or we can move into the demo.
No questions in the chat.
Okay, great.
Then I'll start sharing my screen. Okay, so everyone should be looking at the welcome page of CUAZ within VS Code. So this welcome page for COBOL Upgrade Advisor covers the overview of COBOL Upgrade Advisor and prerequisites, along with the navigation and features. And we also included a diagram explaining how COBOL Upgrade Advisor fits into your overall COBOL upgrade process. So you can find that in the welcome page of CUAZ within VS Code. And then to get started, you can get started by clicking on the Start on Inventory Scan. And then here it's asking you to select the profile type to connect to the mainframe. So the profile type we are supporting is RSE, zOSMF, and CFTP. So for this demo, I'm going to go ahead with RSE profile. And then you're taken to this COBOL Upgrade Advisor inventory scan page. For just to highlight again, for you to use CUAZ, we do require you to install ZOE extension. This will help you to connect your workstation with the mainframe. So as Jen mentioned, we are offering 2 different types of inventory scans. The first one is low library scan. So this will be very useful if you're just getting started and you don't have a lot of insight to your COBOL inventory and wants to get a full picture on your COBOL inventory. So this will scan multiple low libraries statically and will provide you with the insight that you will need to start upgrading and kind of planning and scoping your upgrade. And then the second scan that we are providing is the application scan. So this is useful if you already have a good idea of your COBOL inventory and have identified lists of application that you want to start upgrading, but you want to get more in-depth analysis on that selected application. So this will scan one application at a time, providing you with more in-depth analysis, since this will be dynamically scanning your application by actually running it. So application scan will require run JCL information. So depending on your use case and depending on your needs, you can do both of these scans, or you can do either one of these scans for to start your upgrade. So I'm going to start with the low library scan. The first thing I'll need to do is to select upgrade target. So I'm going to go ahead with the latest version, 6.4. And then the next thing that I'll have to select is selecting the compiler version to exclude from the upgrade. So this is to indicate that any selected version and later has completed the upgrade. So I don't want to touch those versions and focus on the prior versions to be upgraded to 6.4. So I'm going to go ahead with 5.1 and later, indicating that I don't want to touch any of the programs that are already on 5.1 and later. And I just want to focus on the prior version to be upgraded to 6.4. So once everything's selected, I can click next. And here we do require a few of the inputs to set up the infrastructure, and we would have some of the fields filled for you, pre-filled for you, so that you don't have to. So this is the page where you can also select your low libraries. So as I mentioned, for the low library scan, you can select multiple data sets. So I have pre-selected 5 of them already. So once I click next, it will give me a quick summary of the low libraries that I have selected, and then also a place to customized report name. So I can put my output report name here. I have already named it as Group A. So this will be helpful down the road if you have multiple reports generated. It will help you keep track of different reports by customizing your name. So once everything looks good, you can submit and get the scan going. So once the report is ready, it will pop up on your screen automatically. So you can see that this is low library report and the date and time stamp on when it was created, and the name that I've given, Group A. The page that we are looking at is the report overview. So first thing that you will see is a donut chart summarizing a total number of programs that's been scanned and organized by major compiler versions. And based on the exclusion level that I've set, it indicates that upgrade 10% completed. So meaning there's 10% of programs that are already on 5.1 and later. So this donut chart is covering the major versions only, but if you want to see a breakdown of minor versions, you can find that in the compiler version preview table here. So it breaks down into all the minor version and then also a total number of programs that are on those versions. And on the top right corner is where we highlight any critical upgrade prerequisites. So it is very important that users are aware of these prerequisites before they can go ahead with their upgrade, because if they come across any of these issues, it will become a blocker for them during the upgrade, such as LE upgrade, interoperability, and old language syntax. So we will be providing that information here. And right below that, we have a program preview table listing out all the program name, compiler version, module name, and prerequisites. So here we are flagging prerequisite per program here as well, saying that this program required this number of prerequisites that needs to be addressed. And if you want to see a full list of programs that's been scanned, you can find that under the inventory tab. Here we'll list out all the programs that's been scanned, organized by compiler version, prerequisites, date and time of compilation, module name, and complexity. So complexity level indicates how hard or easy it is for you to upgrade this program based on the analysis. So this is one of the factors that you can take into consideration when you're planning your upgrade. So all these categories are sortable, and also you can filter this table to get the exact data point that you're looking for. And we made sure that this table is exportable as CSV so that you can take this data and customize or as needed, and also share with the team outside of your who doesn't have access to VS Code. And in addition to this, we also provide compiler option recommendation per program, and this can be found under the program page, which you can get to by clicking on the program name. So all the programs will have a program page looking like this, which has a summary of the program information and also a more detailed information on the prerequisite for this program specifically. And then we have a compiler option recommendation table here. So it's listing out the current option that this program is using, and then the status of this option, whether if it has been deprecated, changed, unchanged, or a new option introduced in COBOL 6. And in addition to this, we provide recommended actions. So whether you need to remove or change, or no action needed, or consider change. And we will be providing more of those detailed explanation in the dropdown for individual option, along with the documentation and resources that will be useful. So you can also select certain option that you want to take and copy to upgrade your, update your option as well. So this pretty much covers the overall load library report. So the idea is, after looking at this report, you'll have a better idea of what makes your COBOL inventory, and you can start scoping and planning your upgrade, which will help you identify application to start upgrading. And that's where the application scan will come in, where you can get more in-depth information on that selected application. So we'll now go through the application scan flow. Same as before, selecting your upgrade target and selecting compiler version to exclude from the upgrade, and you'll click next. And as mentioned before, for application scan, since it is running dynamically, we do require run JCL information. Once that's filled in, you can click next. Same as before, you can customize your output report name, and it will give you a quick preview of the application detected based on the information that you provided. And if everything looks good, you can submit for the application scan. So this is application scan report. So we are also looking at the report overview page. The interface is pretty identical to the load library scan, but some of the data points are pretty different. The first thing you will notice is that it will actually detect whether or not if you have LE. So if you don't have LE, it will be the first thing that we will flag that this application requires LE upgrade, and we will be providing more information and details, which you can find in this right tile. Additional information that we provide under the inventory tab is the CPU percentage. So by sorting CPU percentage, you can identify possible inactive program here as well, which you can take into consideration when you're scoping and planning your upgrade. And same as load library, it will have a program page for every program that's been scanned, along with the compiler option recommendation. So that covers the overall inventory scan capabilities that CUAZ provides. And just to quickly summarize, the load library scan will give you a full picture of COBOL inventory without compiling or running your programs. And application scan will provide you with more in-depth information by actually dynamically scanning your application. So that's the demo, and I'll stop here for any questions and feedback.
There was one question that was asked about can you add a button to generate the exact compiler parm statements? So on the demo of that page, if you could bring it back up again, Jane, there's a copy button that's available. And when you press that button, anything that you have ticked off on that page will be copied into a list. So you can input that right into your build tool. Were you asking also for a full compile statement or just something related to the compiler options?
Really just for the when you're executing the compiler, it's sometimes it's a lot of effort to go to the IBM manual and look for the correct statements. Some of them are difficult to follow. So I'm just lazy and I want to be able to get it right first time without having, and then without having to rerun this again. So it was just about the speed. I know that in many organizations there are, standards that go through Endeavor or whatever, but it was just a way to get those recommendations into a Palm statement. But if that copy, if I click on the checkboxes and then do copy, that gives me the parameters. Is that what you said, Nicole?
Yes, that's right.
So I think that's enough for me to at least make improvements, because optimization, that's often controlled, because you can't debug. That often happens at a later stage in the life cycle. But where it's where I've got to change something like SS range, that can have an impact on performance, I believe, between unit and perhaps production. So that's great. The checkboxes and the copy. While I'm off mute, any other? At no point does this stuff go off host, does it? Because that's always a big issue in banks and things, that nothing leaves the mainframe, does it?
There's a connection between the workstation component, which is what you're seeing now. The VS Code extension itself runs on your workstation, Windows, Mac, or Linux. and there's a connection made through Zoe to the mainframe. So behind the scenes, there's some analysis that's done on the mainframe to get all this data about your compiler options, version, and all that. It's put into a format that can be read into the user interface over here.
Yeah, so I think that sounds like nothing does leave the mainframe other than the report to be presented in the VS Code extension. So that's
Right.
always a good thing. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay. Well, I will get that deck uploaded, and please take a look at the resources that are available on the back slide. And thanks for joining today.
Well, okay. So I was going to let other people that I've got other questions.
Oh, go
As
ahead.
part
Yep.
of an evaluation offering, is there trial licenses for this so that I could do that load library analysis to give me some is there anything that IBM offered to give me a flavor of what I'm getting into or getting
Not
out
at-
of?
So
We're working on getting a trial set up, so our clients can test it out. We're not there yet, but it's in plan.
yeah,
Good,
and
thank you.
in the meantime, this is live already. There's an interactive demo that's available. So you can go onto the website. You can see something very similar to what you saw Jane presenting today. You can click through. It will give you some information about a scenario that a persona is running through as they go through this. So you can see a use case and see all these same screens. So we do have plans to eventually get a trial offering out so you can get your hands on it as well.
Sorry, Rod, I didn't see your question until just now. So you've just asked the same question, right? About Z trial. So
And Jane just shared the interactive demo link there as well.
lovely. Thank you. So what I'm also going to an open invite for the in-person event in November in the middle of nowhere in England. So you're welcome to come over and demo, and perhaps if you've had any customers that have used this in between now and November, that they might be wanting to contribute to a presentation, because I think this is really gonna, when you had that first chart of the red lines of, I know a lot of people that are still in that red zone and they want to get into the green zone. So it'd be I think this is a really powerful opportunity for someone to leverage IBM technology, all the back end stuff that you know about that we don't on compilers, and that's the goodness here. So thank you very much. You're going to share the deck. The recording for this will be available in a few weeks' time, but if you've got that interactive demo anyway, then it's probably more exciting than just the presentation here. So fantastic. Thank you very much for joining. I can't see any other questions. Final opportunity to ask anything. Oh, feedback link. Yes. Have you got that on your deck? Just to remind people that on the GSE agenda, there is an opportunity to feedback. So if I just pop that into the chat. Where did the chat go? There we go. There we go. Feedback on session AQ. I don't think that gives you an option, though, to ask for enhancements like I did. You have to go through the ideas portal for that. Okay,
Right.
just to be clear.
That's right.
And that's posted above as well.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. And I really look forward to seeing where this is going to be in the next 6 to 12 months. So exciting stuff for the mainframe community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.